Good morning and welcome to Enterprise Friday on Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Chinyere Igweodu.
All right, before we head straight to our newspaper reviews segment today, we implore you to please join us and have a say in what we say by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Enterprise TV7 and visit our website also at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Our guest for this segment is Barrister Evans Ufeli. He is a barrister at law and also a public affairs analyst. Good morning.
Good morning
and welcome. Yes, and also with us in the studios to do justice to what we have for our newspaper reviews is Cyril Abaku, a journalist and also a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you, Cyril, and welcome.
Thank you for joining us.
All right. So we will start off our newspaper headlines today with the our first daily analyst coming from the Vanguard newspaper. And the big story here says Labour may begin nationwide strike on Monday. And the writer to that big story says today's meeting to decide next line of action. That's coming from the Labour.
Also on the Vanguard this morning, Henry, we have on the top strip, Ravers, court stops Amehule, 24 others from parading as speakers and lawmakers.
And also on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have LG Autonomy. Supreme Court gives governors 7 days to respond to federal government suit.
And also on the top strip, this report, Henry, has ruffled a few feathers. U.S. court finds Donald Trump guilty on all counts in historic criminal trial. But let's stay on the big story this morning. LG Autonomy, Supreme Court gives governors 7 days to respond to federal government suit. And I'd like to direct my question to the barrister from Rabbi. Now, government stands on a triad, especially in Nigeria, but one would wonder if federal government autonomy is truly in line with fiscal federalism in the first place.
Local government autonomy.
Yes. Local government autonomy.
Yes. Local government autonomy is actually the intendment of the Constitution. But it's just that the Constitution itself also created a confusion. When you look at Section 7 of the Constitution, you see the formation of local government in the semblance of a third tier of government. Okay, that's supposed to be a grassroots formation for the repository of government functions at the local government level to cater for the needs of the citizens and to govern at the local government level. When you have that kind of formation, it is expected that that body must have a distinct level of autonomy from where it derives its power. But when you now look at Section 162 and the line of it that talk about money standing in credit, talking about the account, they have the Constitution misdirected itself, it shot itself in the foot by taking the local government and states in a joint account, created a joint account. Now, when the joint account is created, the state is actually the beneficiary of that fund, and the direct beneficiary, which is supposed to now take and transmit what is meant for local government. But because we have governors that are not progressive-minded, governors that do not care whether the states make progress or not, most of these governors now take these funds. The further mistake there too is that at the local government level, the government have usurped authorities to the point where a local government chairman, because of politics, does not have a mind of its own. In most states, you don't even have local government chairman, you have a caretaker committee, who happens to be the governor's boys and all that. So they have reduced the local government to, politics, wherein you use those portfolios to compensate party men who work for these governors during election and all that. So having made it that way, the people are not the focus. It's now the, caretaker committee, and the governors also use them to launder funds. They use them to award contracts, get kickback at that level. You don't see meaningful development and all that. So what the federal government did before now through Buhari was to, use an executive order to truncate or to sever the governors from having access to that fund so that local government can have the fund direct. But it was a wrong move because you cannot use an executive order to amend the constitution.
True.
You cannot use an executive order as a judgment of court. So the governors went to court and they won. They were led by Fayemi, former governor of Ekiti State, and they won. Now, the current Attorney General of the Federation have taken a very dangerous move. Dangerous in a good sense, in a good manner. I mean, using the word dangerous. This is going to put a lasting solution to the problem. It took all the states to court, to ask the court to restrain the governors from, one, disrupting democracy at local government level, wherein before the close of the tenure, there are 3 years, the governor will just, as if he's reshuffling cabinet. You understand? Do you know that the councillors at the local government level, do you know that they are a legislative body? They're a legislative body. They sit. They are the lawmakers of that local government. But it's dysfunctional in Nigeria. You understand? And then the chairman of the local government is the executive. You understand? But they have bastardized it. Yeah. So now stop the governors from summarily taking over their power and appoint, because the people gave them mandate for those states where they conduct election. Also stop the governors from having overburdening influence, wherein you contest local government election and one party will win all the seats. In all the then make sure that you have a proper system running and the funds that meant for them to go to them directly. Those are the issues, the prayers in that. Now, some of the states have responded. 8 states have not filed, they were not in court. Okay. And then the Supreme Court have given a date for further proceedings, but I've asked that those states should be served hearing notice. And once all the states file their defense, the federal government have 2 days to file its own reply so that the court can proceed with the matter. Now, let me also state clear that you have 7 justices sitting on the panel. The reason you have 7 because it's a constitutional matter. You know, you're supposed to have 21 judges. When it's a constitutional matter, you sit 7. When it's a non-constitutional matter, you sit 5. So you have 7 in the panel, full house. Okay.
Mr. Abaku, I love the intellectual analysis coming from Barrister, but I'd love us to take a look at this from a layman's angle. People would say that, of course, with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we're beginning to see lots of change of policies, things we've never seen before. For decades, we're beginning to see a change. Don't you think this could be a hijack of the local government from the top echelon, especially with INEC?
Of course, because the forum at which the AGF spoke the other day, he made reference to the question of autonomy for local government areas, and then also made a case for INEC to be the one conducting elections at local government level. But he didn't say anything about electoral reforms, because where this is going in the plainest political terms is that we're facing a situation in which the same way we've accused governors of hijacking local government councils and using the CX to select and just impose council chairman as they like, what makes us feel that the president or the INEC will do the same thing? The president has to do himself on account, and we've seen some very desperate things that have been put on the table just to. So there's also the fear, very reasonable fear, that this is a move to use federal might over and above the governors to go. And I think the Constitution did not intend to design local government areas that will be designed in an also called federalism. And let me explain this. Barrister is here. As a body of laws, that is the constitution of any country, okay, as in Nigeria's case, has acknowledged 3 tiers of government, federal, state, but the way Nigeria did its own is that the Nigerian constitution even goes on to list the names of local government areas. I fear that ideally, when the federal government and its subsidiary governments have been created, it ought to have been the duty of the state governments in our own case, being the federal government, to create their own local government areas. You know that President Tinubu was a very strong advocate for fiscal federalism,
right,
and so on and so forth. He even went as far as spiking the sitting president in the face to create 37 extra local councils in Lagos here, just to put the point that duty is the work of the state government and not federal government. Now, in our own case, I thought that whereas we agree with the fact that in America, local government councils have airports, local government area. In Nigeria, they say that that's the national security. But they have airports. Okay? So now the point is this. If we want local government areas to be strong, is it that they should be strong and be getting allocation from federal government? Or they should be strong enough to be the owners of their resources? This is the real place it should be going. The way we just woke up on Sunday overnight, I heard that they just have sued state governors to God. It looked like an ambush to me. Why are we not willing to follow? When they wanted to release the whole national anthem, what did we do? The reps first passed it, Senate passed it, then he signed.
No public hearing.
No public hearing. I would have expected that they would have brought a bill to the national anthem because by the time you read from point, you cannot amend the constitution by executive order as Buhari did. What is the fear that Buhari had? And the same fear that Mr. Tinubu now adjust to have. You just look up and hear that the executives at the Supreme Court. Is there a possibility that sitting here this Friday, we can already tell what the outcome of this matter is going to be? If that became the outcome, then it will be clear that we are now heading for a case where the federal government wants to be organizing local government elections. So I think that if we reform the electoral system, for example, you lose. I don't see why we can't independent candidates.
But if you start to have the governors creating their own local governments, okay, you're empowering them more to create those local government and lord it over. Because you see, in a federal state, the constitution should distinguish and distinct the local government and empower the local government directly. That's the only way the local government can be strong. Because if you bring the governors into the mix, we're trying to take them away. Your analysis now is to bring them back into the mix. Yeah, because if you don't, sever these people completely from local government functions and authority, the local government cannot be strong. It cannot be strong in every sense of imagination. It won't be strong.
So I think that the argument now is to lord it over or not to lord it over. That bit can be taken care of, right?
Yes. Now you see, you talked about the issue of waking up one day and discover that the federal government is taking this. You see, in the absence of a bill to amend the constitution to have a proper local government, in the absence of that, it's court you go to. Because if court make a pronouncement, the court can use its pronouncement to alter the law. So it's a right direction. If the court make a pronouncement, we now have a case law on local government.
But I mean, perhaps among two options. The government chose the one.
Yeah, because there's no bill. Somebody had to promulgate the bill. So somebody, the federal government can also.
I think they've got to the road where they know they can get the shortcut.
Right.
Exactly, very true.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, very true. So let's move on to our next daily for today.
All right, and then we're moving to the Daily Independent. The big story here reads, minimum wage, Labour FG in make or break meeting today. The rider goes NLC TUC vows to mobilize for strike if negotiation is deadlocked. And the sub-rider, government asks Labour to be considerate, patriotic in their demand.
And also on the side of the same newspaper, we have why I am confident that Nigeria shall prevail against insecurity. That's coming from Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
All right, and the top straight, we have Rivers again. Rivers crisis, court bars 25 pro-Wike lawmakers from conducting legislative business.
Electricity. Federal government secures a 500 million World Bank loan to bolster distribution.
All right. Also on the bottom strip, sit at home. Southeast governors, others condemn killing of soldiers in Abia State.
All right. So quickly, let's take this analysis on Labour and federal government to make or break a meeting today. What does this mean for Nigerian workers and Nigerians in their entirety, especially knowing that whatever happens that day will trickle down to every other business in Nigeria?
Me?
Yes.
Well, the elders are trying to say make or break. I don't know if it's make or break because it's those in the room that know what they're really after. Labour has suffered long. They have waited for more than 1 year now. Hoping to reach a minimum. Like I said it on this platform, it was last week, I was saying that the argument could not be made that how Labour has survived for 1 year. What is the bit that they now want? Because they've used minimum wage to weather the new price regime for PMS for 1 whole year. Okay? But I think that they waited a bit too long. Now, the Labour is on how much 490,000 naira.
Right.
But that one was 60,000 naira. So it doesn't even look to me like any serious corruption is ongoing. I don't know what miracle that has not happened in the past 2 or 3 weeks that has only happened today. If they are able to reach an agreement, all well and good. But if they are not, will Labour really go on strike? This Labour leaders don't look to me like who are really interested in embarking on national action to make government see it from this point of view. I just hope that they are able to resolve matter today, because if they don't, Monday, June 3, right? Doesn't need to, they may say they are calling for this same Labour leaders that said that they're going to go on strike. They went a discussion with government. They came out as that God has promised and that they believe government's promise. And on the side of that, they called off the strike. So I honestly don't have very strong faith that whatever they discuss today will lead to finality, even if they don't agree on the minimum wage. The way going to negotiate doesn't look like they are serious about. Which governors like Obaseki of Edo he's on 7,000 naira.
Right.
The last meeting they went for before now, the government side was saying, you talk. Then finally the minister now
They didn't have a meeting for anything.
now spoke. So this kind of you talk people. That's so I if Labour was serious, I think that they would have closed the discussion long ago, frankly speaking. But I hope and pray, right? Because Nigeria is a great nation. Can this matter be resolved today? So that effective whenever it is, the new minimum wage, wage can come into effect.
Very true.
So I'm going to ask Viper Evans why he thinks the federal government is not, willing to shift grounds in terms of what they are offering Labour, and then what do you think Labour should do to actually, shift their sword or reach some sort of compromise with the federal government in this stance?
Labour shot itself on the foot when they yielded to that paltry sum they call palliative. There's the amount of money they give them not too long ago.
Right.
That they shouldn't have. Yeah, they shouldn't have negotiated that at all. What 48,000 how much? So they shouldn't have gone there since they have a bigger assignment to deal with. Because now the federal government feel that we don't give them something not too long ago.
Someone arrest.
Yes. So now this one is not looking like over agitation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is supposed to be their right by law. They are supposed to, you are supposed to upgrade. You see, I like the junior chambers. They say that economic justice can best be won by free men through free enterprise. That the service to humanity is the greatest treasure to life, and that the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations. You see, workers cannot subsist in this economy with what they are being paid. They cannot survive it. Okay. The reason we have a huge level of corruption is because of what they are paid. Now, I was at the airport yesterday, passing through immigration, able-bodied men. Okay. I have done 4 countries in the last 1 month. I was in my own country. Immigration had to search me. So immediately I go to them, I open the bag immediately. Say, what do you have? I say, I have shoes and clothes. So I did designer shoes. I said, you can see them. This is what I have outside. He said, no, you don't have to open them. Just zip it back.
Why would they ask you what kind of shoes?
He said, you don't have to open it. Just zip it back. What do you do? Just zip it. You're okay. Just, we need some. Just give us something. These are people's father. I look at their faces. See, we need to get Nigeria right. And the earlier we do it, the better. You see, these people that are asking for this money, they represent less than 1% of the population of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And the federal government is unable to address less than 1% of the country. Now, I'm just telling you the dilemma. There's a huge population rather, that need to be attended to. So the ones who are just less than 1%, you cannot even, you are not even saying that, because what this whole thing looks to me like the federal government don't even care whether labor goes on strike, because the federal government know that this labor, they are weak. These ones are 12 midnight. At 12 midnight, they will start to tell you how they want to call it off. That the federal government have promised them that, you understand, they get on that promise, they get on that hope, they begin to hope against hope. The federal government will still not meet that target. So at any time you throw 30,000 at them, they hurriedly picked it, and now they want to renegotiate the higher. It's not going to work. The way labor is going in Nigeria is very worrisome and painful, because labor industrial union all over the world. In UK, if they come out, prime minister is wrong. The prime minister will disappear when labor comes out. So it's a serious case. In the US, the same thing. In Netherlands, places they don't. In fact, the federal government avoid, because once they lock the door, like you declare every day in your seaport, the amount of money, there will be no money that day. There will be no anything, no posting letters. People, apart from the automated, maybe like VAT, those ones are automated. We don't have too many automated policy in Nigeria. So the federal government will be losing. It's not like in the US where if you shut everywhere down, anything you are doing, the federal government is getting its money through automated generation of funds. Yes. In Nigeria, it's not like that.
Very true.
You have to move one file from one table to one table to one table. Somebody has to be on board with all that.
All right. So just before we drop our anchor for today, I think it's let's just take maybe the headline news of the last paper today, the Punch newspaper, and this big story here says student loan, 336 state institutions listed as 60,000 registered. And I would love to ask, this is just a drop in the ocean, 60,000 already registered, and we have over 10 million students in dire need of this loan. Already across the regions of Nigeria, it's already a problem, so plethora of issues of favoritism in the distribution in the portal itself. Do you think this is going to be a very successful drive from the federal government? Just in 30 seconds, both of you. Let me start with you, Barrister.
Well, I don't think this student loan, I don't think the groundwork is robust. What I think they should do is to take those funds and repackage the system. Okay? All the school, take tuition down, make tuition free. Make tuition free. Let them pay for just maybe little books and all that. Take it free. Then they go through the system. Okay? When they go through the system, then you create an employment chain. And they will sign off to it. When they start working, they start to contribute. That's what they do in the US.
When they start working while in school or after school?
After school. Okay. They start to pay. And if you're unable to pay, it becomes a criminal offense. You'll be jailed. So what we need is to create a database and record. Just like the other said, everybody have a record. Okay? Where you school, when you school, when you pass out, where you have worked, how many years you have worked and have not paid back your loan. My friend that did masters in the US paid only $700 from here. He paid the money from here before he went $700. When he got there, he continued finished his 2 years. He applied for financial aids, and that was given to him. Now he's working. He's now paying back monthly. He's going to do that for Obama, that will come President Obama, finished paying his student loan in 2004. 2004, that's when he finished. Otherwise, he will not be able to go to school. So because education is the ornament of prosperity and refuge in adversity. Education is important. That is through education that you can keep society sane. Many of these people, they cannot access this loan. Many of them are going to drop out. That is why you see them defecating on the expressway. People will shit on the expressway. They are unschooled. And the country have not been able to give them what is required to elevate. Because, see, what is education? Is to develop your inner faculties. Take your mind up there. That's what it means. So every citizen, that's why it's the right of a citizen. So don't do student loan that way. Do it in a way that they should be able to take off tuition. Use that money to do loan, to take it back to that and do the right thing.
The final thoughts.
I totally agree. And just to add that, my own caveat to that being that, as I've said time and again, there are two key things that we need to make free for everybody. One is power, two is education. We can always work on the details of how to implement it. But for a developing economy, for a country as poor as Nigeria, with whether people are out of school, even the conditions for accessing the loan is draconian. And I would have thought that government would have got it wise and better to say, you know what, let's get as many people as we can on board, for a pilot phase of let's say 10 years, people should go to school free. We owe it to every Nigerian to be properly educated first.
That is the solution.
Before we can discuss any other thing. You see, first of all, even this issue of education, there must have been a Nigerian dream that this education is going to be feeding. But you see, because we don't have a clear compass, today for this policy, today,
all over the place.
No common dream.
There's no common dream. I would have loved to see anybody can go to school as far as they have been there to go to school. The people that are going to give this scholarship to Henry and Chineke, schools are not any better. Masters degree students as using flashlight to learn in class. So where's the investment? What is the quality of that we're talking about? There's a lot about it that appear not have been taught through.
Yes.
So they need to go back, think it through, and come.
And it's so appealing that our government doesn't even read the social situation. Do you know that during the NSAS, do you know that when the hoodlums hijacked it, you could see the schooled ones who started it. Those ones who are schooled, the middle class, they are schooled. You could see how they pulled out from the protests when those ones came. You see, those hoodlums can be as civil as those ones who started it. If you have a plan, an educational plan for them, so that they go to school free, so that we know that whoever did not go to school is a habitual nuisance.
Exactly.
Then we increase the capacity of our prisons and put them there. You understand? So yes,
that's civilization.
If government read
civilization.
the social reading of society, that is why they say government should have a research team. That research team will read the social composition, the way society is going. You will know that the reason we have this deficit in this number, they went to the high court during the NSAS, brought out a judge down, wore it, sat, did a case.
Who does that?
You understand? See, because they went to the Opera of Lagos Palace, took his staff, and ran away.
And sacked the whole place.
You will always get that when you're unable to plan for your citizens, as long as possible. But if you do plan for your citizens, you will see how you will sift a huge number of them off. Those who will remain that way, the other way, increase the capacity of your prison and put them there.
Unfortunately,
yes. In addition to increasing capacity of prisons, the conversation on education isn't just about 4 walls. You see, this word has started about community education. We are using them in the digital age. How do we reach mechanizers, plumbers, their children, market women, their babies? Can't they also learn? If you went to Oshodi now, you think that they are all just boys about who that job. It's not true. Among them, there are graduates.
Right.
Among them, there are electricians. Among them, there are masons. Among them, there are plumbers. But if you put those people together, they can build houses. Somebody who you claim to be unlettered has skills. You can teach him Einstein. You can teach him Enrico Fermi. You can teach him all kinds of things. If you can repair a car, it means he can learn physics.
Right.
So what are we doing about those people unreached that we can convert our knowledge into our digital languages and teach them on their phones or something?
No, we are sending them away from those mechanic parts.
Thinking about that.
Those mechanic parts. Government will wake up one day and say, this place has been taken over. All the mechanics should just step out.
And they erect estates there and so on and so forth. You see, unfortunately, those who are making those draconian, rules and policies, just like Cyril did say, are people who enjoyed absolute free education.
Very well.
In the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Today, they're making it difficult.
Free education with meals.
With meals. They're making it absolutely difficult for today's generation.
It's unfortunate.
Very true.
Unfortunate. All right, when we return, 4 soldiers killed in Aba as gunmen mark Biafra Day. More in a moment. Stay tuned.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.